All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What is going on? This is Nate the Great coming to you live from the All Sports All Plays Network. I'm here today with Greg. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Nate. How you doing today, bud?
Doing well. You know, it's over here in Dallas area, and something it hasn't happened in over 6 years, and that's snow. And I've been playing a lot in the snow today, and today was just a great day. But to go ahead right in, if you're out there in the comment section, you want to win a free t-shirt, all you have to do is like, comment, and share the show, and you get a chance to win a free t-shirt. And say for a second, you're in the car, you're doing something, you're on a morning run, and you missed the show, but you still want a t-shirt. It's $14.99 plus shipping and handling. It's not. It's a good. I'd say it's a good deal. I mean, do you agree, Greg?
I do agree. $14.99 plus shipping and handling. I think that's a pretty good price. And the t-shirt design is really nice. I'm planning on getting one too. Once I lose about another 20 pounds.
The size is from small to 2XL. So if you want a t-shirt, just message me, message Greg, message anyone on this network, and we'll get you in touch and try to get you one with $14.99 shipping and handling. Now that being said, and going in and dealing with the topics, I'm going to start off with something that's a little bit different. We haven't actually covered college on the Sports Corner show, but we're going to be doing that today because March Madness is actually about to hit up. Is there any surprise based off of this bracket? Is there anything that you think that might be like a sleeper team heading into March Madness?
Yeah, a couple teams come to mind. The first one is the Siena Saints. I think that they could be a definite sleeper team. I don't like where the bracket is right now with them facing Texas Tech. I don't know if this is set in stone or not, but that's going to be a very tough matchup. But Siena is bringing back this year 3 or 4 guys that started, in 28 games over the last season and a half. So, they got some experience. I think that they play a very solid ball. They're first in their conference. I think they're definitely a team that could make a run or cause a fit for a few teams out there. Of course, you remember Loyola Chicago from a few years back when they had that nun that was showing up at all their games, rooting for them, and everything,
Yeah.
and they made that run and went very deep. If she's around, I wouldn't count them out. I think they got a good luck charm in her. So I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. You can't count out the Ramblers. But yeah, if they got that lady just rooting them on, yeah, I mean they're gonna go places. I think they're on a pretty good side of the bracket right now, where they're positioned. So I don't know. I'm thinking the Siena Saints and the Ramblers from Loyola Chicago kind of stand out to me for a team that can make a pretty good run.
For me, I'm going with a team not because of their ranking. It's because they actually haven't really been a top 25 team in so long. Um, so I could see them going deep into the bracket. I can see them maybe it being a Sweet 16 team. I can also see them maybe even going up to the Elite Eight. Final Four, probably not, and I definitely can't see them going beyond that. I'm going with Alabama. Alabama. I can see them. They've been on a roll this year. They've been a team to go out and watch out for. They right now they play UMBC. That's going to probably be a win. And then they play the winner of Colorado and Indiana. It doesn't matter who goes up on top on this one. I think Alabama's probably going to beat either one of them. And then I think they might they go out they face and then they go out and face either Creighton, Boise State, West Virginia, or UC Irving. It doesn't matter who goes out on top of this. Maybe, well, actually, I take that back. Western Virginia might be a team that could stop them, but I can't see. I could see them this going deep, very deep, but into the playoffs. Now, do you think that this might be now going flipped? Is there any team that's very high ranking that you can see them being once you're going like Sweet 16, or do you see this any shockers in the opposite direction?
You know, I'm taking a look here, and I think that an Oklahoma team might be a little bit vulnerable down the stretch. I don't know. I'm thinking out of the top seeds. I'm thinking probably Ohio State would be another team that could be taken out. By the Sweet 16 to get into the Elite Eight. So yeah, this is a weird year this year. There's a lot of teams that I'm looking at this bracket. You don't see the usual suspects. You don't see it Duke. You don't see North Carolina. You don't see a lot of these former powerhouses. You're seeing some mid-level. You're seeing some smaller schools make it. Yeah, it's pretty. It's going to be interesting. I think right now that Gonzaga is probably the team to beat, but as we've seen in the past from Gonzaga, they always make a good run up until about the Sweet 16 or so, and then sometimes they fizzle out. They just haven't been over the top. But this might be their year. So I don't see too many potential upsets right now, but I don't know if I had a $50 bill on me, I think I might roll the dice and put it on Cleveland State to take out Illinois or something. I think that might be if you had $50 to burn.
Wow. I will have to say you brought up the point about how some of these teams that are higher ranking aren't usually some of the suspects in the past few years. Any new team that basically is a top 25 team, I could see them going out first round as well. Any new team that usually doesn't make top 25 but is in this year, I could see them going out pretty early as well. Only because they don't have a lot of experience. That organization doesn't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. If you know what I mean.
Right.
But so that can go for a lot. I know I brought up Alabama, but Alabama is not a top 25 team. I could see them hasn't been a top 25 team until this year. I could see them going in and losing pretty early, but I can see them also going a deep run. They're kind of a tricky team that way, but Gonzaga probably not. I could see them maybe making, at the very least, they're probably going to be an Elite 8 team, if not Final Four. But like you said, it's the same way every year. But you know, is there any team on this list that you thought was going to make it? It might be a team that normally makes it to the playoffs every year, but isn't this year. And you're surprised that they're even not being part of the top 25. They're not even part of the bracket.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Duke Blue Devils on this. I mean, if you look at Duke, I mean, they are way off. I mean, I don't even know if they're in the top 30. They might be like in the top. I don't even know if they're in the top 40, to tell you the truth. I mean, they've slipped way off. They had another kid that decided that he didn't want to play the rest of the season, so he opted out. I don't know what's going on over there, but it just seems like Duke was constantly, you could always pencil them in to at least be in the Sweet 16 every year, and they're not even on this bracket right now. So they're a team outside of the top 25 that is normally a top 5 to 10 team, every single year. My North Carolina Tar Heels, they're another team in the ACC that's always there every year. Last year they had a really down year. They lucked out because there was no March Madness. They had a streak of many years of making it to March Madness, and they canceled that last year with the COVID. But yeah, something's going on, with some of the North Carolina schools, Duke and North Carolina. They're just out of sync. I think that North Carolina will be back soon. They got a really good recruiting class. They got some good freshmen this year. But yeah, there's another one. Is Kentucky on here, Nate? I don't see them.
I don't see them either.
Yeah. So remember when Kentucky, every year they'd get like 3 or 4 guys, that one year that they had like 7 guys went into the NBA draft, a few years back. And so I don't know if Calipari's recruiting's just been off the last couple of years or what, but yeah, they always normally have a pretty good showing in the SEC. So yeah, there's just a lot of teams that you don't normally see on this bracket, and they're putting something together. But yeah, there's a lot of teams that we're used to seeing that aren't in here. It's kind of refreshing to see a lot of new teams enter this bracket, but it's throwing me off a little bit looking at this bracket, seeing all the teams that aren't there that normally are.
And last thing before we get on to the new topic, who's your you said who's your team
for college basketball?
Yeah,
is the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're not on this bracket, but is there anybody that I didn't see them in this bracket, but is there anybody on here that you're kind of rooting for them to go and win it all? Even though they might not make a Final Four or anything, is there any team that you're probably going to be rooting for?
Well, I'm definitely going to be rooting for Texas Tech. I think that a couple years ago they made a really good run. They put Virginia to the test for most of that game a couple years ago in the championship.
Great.
Was that 2 years ago?
2 years ago, I saw that game. That was awesome.
Yeah, they put on a really good tournament. They got Max McClung, transfer student. I think he's a junior this year. The guy can just, you know, I think he can probably dunk about 11 and a half feet. I mean, he's got super hops. Very talented player, probably averaging around, I think, 17 points a game or so. Great transfer kid. Just an excellent leaper. So Texas Tech is one that I've got my eye on that I'm going to root for. I'm also going to root for Virginia because I have family. My mom was born in Virginia, and I have family that my grandparents were from Virginia and everything. So I kind of have some ties to Virginia. So I'm going to keep an eye on them too. I think Florida State is another team that I always root for because, they put on a pretty good showing a few years ago too. So they're always a good team that I like to root for too if my team's not in it or is already bounced out. So I think those three teams right now is kind of who I'm going to keep an eye out for. And of course, if that none is there rooting on Loyola Chicago, I'm going to be rooting for them to make a run because she was pretty much the highlight of the Final Four here about 4 years ago.
The reason why I asked that question, I said before the show, I'm a BYU fan. I root for everything, every college sport I paid attention to. I root for BYU. The one exception is in baseball. That's because a couple of TCU players went to the Children's Hospital, which is nearby TCU, and actually went into a doctor's appointment. I actually met quite a few of them. Their endocrinology appointment. And so I met quite a few of them. That's what made me become a TCU baseball fan. But anyway, that's going off topic. The reason why I asked that question is BYU. I asked that question because the follow-up question I had was, how deep do you think they're going to make in the playoffs?
I think that I'm trying to look here. I think that Texas Tech is going to make it to the Final Four. I think the Florida State is probably going to make it to Sweet 16, possibly the Elite Eight. And Virginia, I think that they're going to make it to I think they're going to make it to the Sweet 16. I think they might get bounced out by Villanova at some point, though. So, I don't know. I think the Texas Tech is going to make another run. That's how I feel.
For me, it's BYU. BYU is who I root for, and I think I honestly don't think they're going to make it past second round. I think they might make first round, but I don't think they're going to make it past the second.
Yeah.
Because they go up and they play Clemson first round. I think they're going to win that one. And then they go up and they play the winner of Sam Houston State and Michigan, which means that I think they're going to lose to Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan might be a little bit too much for them to handle. I think the Michigan and Gonzaga are playing extremely good basketball right now. It's unfortunate that they're kind of locked in right now on that side of the bracket because I do think that BYU, given a few different teams, a little bit, more lucky bracket or so, I think that they could give a couple teams a good push, to try to get into an Elite Eight or something. But
now to go on bit of a okay. Um, JJ Watt, he got cut from the team. He's now officially a free agent, no longer part of the Texans organization. Where do you see that guy going?
Well, you know where I'd like to see him go? Indianapolis.
That's, I mean, he's not getting traded because he's a free agent, so he's not going to get traded. So
Yeah.
that's a possibility.
That's a possibility. It's going to be a matter of whether Chris Ballard really wants to spend the money. I've heard that he might have some ties to Green Bay just because he's kind of a Wisconsin boy. He played for the Badgers of Wisconsin. I don't really know if that's Green Bay style to go after a free agent. That's in his early 30s. They did go after Charles Woodson many years ago, and that worked out pretty well. But I don't think that the Green Bay Packers are really too invested in going after free agents that are entering, their age 31, 32 season. So I wouldn't count out the Packers. I'd like to see him go to the Colts. I think that the Cleveland Browns might be another team that is going to show some interest. I think that'd be a deadly duo with him and Myles Garrett on the end over there too. But my Colts are definitely always looking to up their defensive game, and we've improved over the last few years with that. And I think that it'd be a great signing. I don't know what kind of contract they're going to have to assign him to. I don't know if he's looking for 3-4 years or what they're willing to do. I heard that Washington Redskins, for some reason, are one of the few teams that aren't really actively taking a look at him for some reason. And I think that'd be a deadly duo with him and Chase Young on the edge. And I just don't know what Dan Snyder's thinking, wanting to pass on that and not being very active, wanting to go after a quarterback and acting like he wants to stick with Heineke for a while. I just don't get it. But I would say Packers, Colts, and the Browns would probably be the top three choices that I think that he'll probably choose from.
So I'm actually going a different route. And the first team, I can see him playing with his brothers. I can see him, even though I don't think it's a good move by Pittsburgh to sign J.J. Watt, because that's not addressing what Pittsburgh needs. They're really good on defense. They need a lot of offensive help, though. With the wide receivers addressing quarterback situation, although I think this is going to be Big Ben's final year. They need offensive help. That's the one thing they need to address. I can see him wanting to play with his brothers over at Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah.
Also, the other team I can also see Chicago Bears. Like Pittsburgh, I that's not going to address what they need, but I'm more thinking of it on a personal standpoint, because his wife, she lives over in Chicago, right?
Yeah, she does. I think she's like a ballet dancer or something like that.
Yeah, ballet dancer over at Chicago.
Yeah. Also, Nate, I called the Washington team. I called them the Redskins. I'm so used to calling them the Redskins over the years. So I need to apologize because now they go by the football team, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, my apologies for that. The Washington football team. Okay, I was so used to the Redskins and everything, but the Washington football team has surprisingly been kind of mum on going after Watt. But I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Bears uniform like you were talking about. His wife lives there, works there.
Yeah.
But that would, if they spend all this money, they got Khalil Mack. I mean, they already have a good defense, and then adding him would be just top of the line defense if he could stay healthy. But I don't know. Chicago has so many issues that they need to address with their offense. I don't know if they're going to really make a big
Yeah, that's
another
where I'm
splash
thinking
on
too.
defense. Yeah.
I was thinking more personally speaking and not what team needs kind of spanking, but
Yeah.
and last thing is going to the MLB side of things. Spring training actually starts next week. Is there anything that you can think of last minute signing, last minute trade that you could see happening before spring training starts? Anything that you could see happening that hasn't happened yet?
Well, the first thing that I think that needs to happen is somebody needs to make a phone call and get Trevor Rosenthal
Yeah.
a job, because he had a superb season last year. He's had a few setbacks in his career. He was taking the world by storm when he was with the Cardinals. Then he kind of dropped off for a while with the Tigers, and then he went back and pitched very well last season with the Royals, and now he's a free agent again. And I think that a team like the Mets or somebody needs to make a phone call and get him, because I mean he's an extremely talented you know relief pitcher. He's a great closer, or has proven himself to be a good closer. Um, I think that also you got a couple good starting pitchers. I mean, you got a lot of starting pitchers right now that are out of work. But I don't know. I think that Taiwan Walker. I think that somebody needs to sign him. I heard that the Mets might be making another move, wanting one more arm, and I don't know if they're going to really try to pull the trigger and get Taiwan Walker. He's 28 years old. He has some life in his arm. He's had some surgeries and some setbacks and everything, but he's got a good fastball. He's got some good movement. Jake Odorizzi has pitched pretty good, but he's also had some arm issues. So you got some guys that some of these teams might need to take a second look at, and might be able to get them for a pretty good contract, because some of these guys have had injury problems for the past few seasons and everything. But I'll tell you, when some of these guys are healthy, they're good to look at. So I think that a few moves would be that I think the Mets are either going to look for a starter, or they may pick up the phone and give Rosenthal a chance, or put an offer on the table. I don't see a whole lot more going on right now by free agent signings. I don't know. What do you see, Nate?
I mean, if I haven't looked entirely on the dates, but I think a lot of pitchers need to be signed. I mean, a lot of you're gonna probably see a lot more pitchers being signed, because at certain you're going to have like training camp coming up soon. Spring training happens. Remember, it happens in 1 week. So
Yeah.
I see a lot, especially on the pitching staff. I could see a lot of new signings with pitchers and catchers. Not anything in particular, but I can see towards those two positions.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that you're seeing some of these guys that haven't really done anything for the last 2 years or more getting picked up on minor contracts. And then you got like veteran pitchers like Cole Hamels that's still out there, that could provide a little depth, to a rotation, or be a valuable asset to a team that might not want to start 5 pitchers. They might want to go to a 6-man rotation for a while, to try to protect some arms. So I know that Cole Hamels, he's a very good pitcher. He's thrown a no-hitter or two in his day. He won a World Series. I mean, I think that someone like him would be a good pickup for, at least for his leadership qualities, even if he's not like a number 1, 2, or even 3 starter. Just give him a chance to maybe fill in a little bit in a rotation. So,
I actually take that back. You brought up Cole Hamels, and I take that back. I can see where he might be signed to.
okay.
Angels.
Yeah, the Angels,
Yes.
the Angels are another team that just hasn't been investing in pitching.
It's that number 1 position that they need. They have
Yeah, it
everything
really
else.
is.
They just need a lot of pitching.
Yeah.
They have Mike Trout, they have all those people, but they need pitching.
Yeah, I was at an Angels game back in 2008 when my ex-wife and I were on our honeymoon, and we got to the stadium around the 3rd inning, and the Angels were up 4-1, and I think we got tickets in the left field stands for like $35 or something for the both of us, and then I think my ex-wife ate about $50 worth of hot dogs that night to make up for our cheap seats. But yeah, it was like 4-1, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, the Angels are looking pretty good. And then next thing I know, it's like 13-4 Tampa Bay. Balls were flying out of the stadium. So I mean, it's been that many years that they've just had weak pitching. I get there, they're looking good. Only give up 1 run, and then they give up like 12 runs. In the next 6 innings. So they've always, for the last few years, well, dozen years, pitching has just been an issue for the Angels.
Last thing, any final comments before we head this and give this a close?
No, I'm hoping that the next time we do this, we have one more person to kind of go around.
Yeah.
But it's been fun, Nate. It's been fun. I need to, I need to break out of habits. When you get, like the Washington football team, I need to keep telling myself they're the football team.
I've been having that bad habit, but luckily I kind of stepped away from that. The last thing that I think needs, I want to say, rest in peace to an NFL player, played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and also played for the Chargers. And he passed away. That Vincent Jackson. Rest in peace to him because he passed away. He was only 37.
Yeah,
and he was young, too young, gone too soon.
he is a very highly skilled receiver. Philip Rivers, always had great things to say to him about him during their playing days. I mean, him and Antonio Gates, they created a lot of great passing lanes for Philip Rivers. Tremendous talent. It is very sad. I don't know if they've came out with a cause of death or what, but very sad news. Such a young age. Heard he was a really good guy. It just seems like I don't know what it seems like to you, Nate, but it just seems like every week we're losing more and more people in sports. I mean, we've just lost a lot of legends this year.
Yeah, we lost a lot of legends, especially in the MLB side. I know a couple months ago we lost a Denver Broncos player, and then we lost a lot of MLB former MLB greats and announcers, and then now this.
Yeah.
So Ace brought up a comment, says, do you think the Angels can make a run this year.
I'll tell you.
Before you go, I'm just going to say, if they don't address pitching, that's automatic no.
Well, that's exactly what I was trying to hint at a few minutes ago is, they got a lot of tools on offense. They got Rendon at third. They got Pujols that can still hit a few home runs. He's kind of getting close to that retirement stage. At least top three. So I think offensively they've got a chance. But yeah, if they don't invest in some arms, they're not going to go very far. Sports has changed so much. You got a team like the Yankees that for years was chasing offense. Now they're desperate for arms. That's why they went out and got a Garrett Cole. So I don't know if the Angels are going to be able to make a run this year. I don't know. I think that the A's are going to stay a little bit ahead of them in their division. They picked up your buddy over there in that trade. Remember, Nate?
I don't want to talk about that right now.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that the Angels are going to make a run this year, but I'll tell you what, if I was Mike Trout, I'd just be getting a little bit anxious because, he's given his heart and soul. He's made a lot of money, but he hasn't really got a whiff of the playoffs, and I think they deserve to put a little money into their pitching and try to help them out a little bit.
Man, this has been Greg, and I signing out. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so time for laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.